Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello. My name is Nick Leland and I make movie reviews and documentaries on movie history. And before we get into this one, I want to plug in my new documentary, Mack, Sennett, Hollywood's King of Comedy, premiering September 26th at 10 a.m. The link for that will be in the description, so feel free to check it out so you don't miss that one. Now with that out of the way, let's get into my review of Tod Browning's 1932 movie, Freaks. So this movie tells the story of a group of performers in a traveling circus. Among them are a variety of characters including Siamese twins, little people, bearded ladies, and much more. And one of them, Hans, a little person, falls in love with a trapeze artist, Cleopatra. The problem with this is that she and Hercules, the strong guy, just want to con him in order to gain his money. And without spoiling anything, they really face the consequences of their actions. First thing I want to preface with this is Freaks is not a horror movie, contrary to what a lot of people think. And when I say that, I do not mean that in the sense of trying to gatekeep the genre. Rather that, again, without spoiling this review, the movie is mainly remembered for the last couple minutes with how the bigots are punished in the end. And aside from that, the only other scary legacy of this film comes to how it was perceived back in 1932. While it didn't ruin Browning's career, again, contrary to popular belief, it was still met with an enormous enough backlash that it was banned for almost 30 years until just before Browning's death in 1962. This was, in large part, unfortunately, due to bigotry. Many of the people back then were of the eugenics movement and threw a big fit about the idea of living among people who were different from them. A more modern example of this, for example, would be one of my new favorite books, Gendered Queer by Maia, who uses the speedfuck pronouns E, M, and ear, spelled E-I-R. It's a book about Ear's experience with being non-binary and asexual. It's one of those books that conservatives have been fighting to get banned from libraries and schools, just because they're bigots, plain and simple. And also, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's only about 20 bucks at most on Amazon. Link will be in the description. It's not affiliated, I just really like the book. So this is obviously nothing new in terms of how bigots react to representation of different groups. And in actuality, this movie is just a slice of life film for the most part. The overwhelming majority, and I mean overwhelming majority of it, is just seeing the performers interact with each other and how they deal with their personal lives. A couple of examples of this are how a bearded lady and a performer called the Human Skeleton have a baby, and one of the Siamese twins gets married. These are all very beautiful scenes where the alleged freaks of the carnival aren't treated like monsters or things to be shunned. They're shown for what they are. People. Normal, everyday people who just want to be allowed to openly express themselves. For me, personally, Freaks is an example of how movies have always been for everyone and about inclusion, and again pushes back against this idea that movies are somehow pushing an agenda on you nowadays, which obviously isn't true. And no, for anyone watching this, just because a movie shows people of a certain group doesn't mean anything is being forced on you. The closest thing this movie comes to being a horror film is how people perceive and discriminate against them. An example of this, other than Cleo and Hercules, is at the start of the film where the performers are playing in a field and a landowner and his caretaker approach them, and the caretaker treats them like crap. He calls them monsters and demands that they leave, but the landowner, who is actually using his brain, treats them with respect and leaves them alone. So it's not even trying to make any grand statement either. It just asks people to not be bigots, which I personally argue is one of the easiest things a person can do. So to conclude, Freaks is not a horror film, unlike what many people will claim. It's a beautiful film about acceptance and life in the carnival, and it's also one of the main ones I would recommend to someone wanting to get into the works of Todd Browning, aside from Dracula. Before I go, I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future movie reviews and movie history content. And if you have seen Freaks, please be sure to let me know your thoughts of it in the comments below, or your favorite Todd Browning movie. And until next time, my name is Nick Leland, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day.